So you know. Truck drivers at the Port of LA are leading a groundbreaking union campaign. Their employer XPO systematically misclassifies them as contractors so they can deny them basic benefits and rights. A victory would set a historic precedent for misclassified. That's sick. That's fucking dope. So, what did we say yesterday? By the way. Remember what we said yesterday? I fucking called this yesterday as well. First and foremost, let's get to the good news, okay? What's the news, folks? Are you ready for this? We did it, Reddit. We did it. Yeah, Russia is not invading Ukraine anymore. I know that like for the past week or so, they kept, or for the past 2 months, they've been like, invasion is imminent. Invasion is imminent. Invasion is imminent. And a lot of you fucking idiots. I knew it. This ass fuck. This literal piece of dog shit in the bottom of my fucking shoe that I stepped on. I knew this fucking NATO cocksucker would come in here and say, seems like NATO successfully deterred Russian aggression. Great news. I knew it. I knew this fucking absolute troglodyte, this fucking baboon. I was waiting. I couldn't even finish it. I couldn't even finish my take about how, notice how they fucking claim that Russia is going to fucking destroy Ukraine. Russia's going to destroy Ukraine. Russia's going to destroy Ukraine. That's why they need NATO. That's why they need NATO. Now that fucking NATO baboon turns around and goes, oh, we did it successfully. We stopped Vladimir Putin from invading Ukraine. Or maybe that was never going to fucking happen. Like I said, it was never going to fucking happen. You fucking idiot. I've never seen a group of individuals that will just like relentlessly act like they won a fucking argument, dude. It's like, it doesn't matter. They'll be like, tomorrow, there's a war tomorrow. 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 And the tomorrow never comes. And when there's no war tomorrow, they're like, you're lying. You're fucking lying. Dude, it's going to happen. What do you mean? How could you say this? NATO is the reason why it's fucking happening. NATO is the reason why they're doing it. And then, please look at news from the past 3 hours on Ukraine rather than just working on old information. Russia is posting pretext for invasion right now and actively hacking Ukrainian infrastructure as your stream, dude. Come on. I'm going to lose my fucking mind, dude. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Hold on. I gotta open the door real quick to someone here. Here, let's watch.
Military buildup on the borders of Ukraine. Take a look at this video showing Russian troops training near Ukraine. A U.S. official said some of those forces have...
Sam Sachs, Putin is a suicidal maniac who wants war, but stopped because the U.S. says, no, don't. I love that, dude. I love that. No, he is like this incredibly violent, bloodthirsty demon who wanted to destroy, wipe out Ukraine, and he was going to wipe out the rest of Europe, but he stopped because America said, no, no, no. That's how. That's why. And also, everyone that said Vladimir Putin is never going to invade Ukraine because a sustained campaign of invasion would be completely impossible for there is no economic interest there. It would be virtually impossible for them to have a fucking sustained ground invasion like in Ukraine. That would be psychotic, even if the Western forces did not fucking actually help out. Okay? You guys are literally QAnon. I'm sorry, West Elm Caleb, you are literally a liberal QAnon Andy, okay? You are doing the exact same copium that motherfucking QAnon people do, okay? Libanon, all the way, dude. Blue Anon. It's wild. They literally were just like, dude, they're going to seize the treasure trove of data at the heart of Kiev. And actually, like right now, my sources are telling me Vladimir Putin has literally got a sniper rifle trained, okay? Trained on every like Ukrainian leader. And he's waiting for the execution codes. Like, and then you kept saying that for months. And now that it's not happening, and I kept saying, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. What did everybody say? What the fuck did everybody say when I kept saying, that's not going to happen? You're crazy. That's just not going to happen. They kept saying, you're fucking in the pocket of Vladimir Putin. You're so fucking wrong. It's definitely going to happen. It's happening already. Okay? You really are the Lev's Rush Limbaugh. But I was right. I was 100% right. Like, I got fucking liberals schizo posting on the fucking timeline about an inevitable invasion, okay? Like, just actual fucking land war in Ukraine. All of this stuff. And I was 100% right. And now, liberals who literally said, no, Russia is going to do this. Russia is going to do this. Russia is the bloodthirsty psychos at the fucking door. What happened, dude? Now they're going to turn around and say, oh, it's because of NATO. It's because of NATO that they stopped. Yeah, you've got it, dude. German, what do you call Crimea? I call it a part of Russian territory, bitch. That's what I call Crimea. I call it Crimea River, a Russian river, that is. Russia's historic access into the Black Sea, Crimea, that's like historically fucking ethnically all Russian, majority Russian, overwhelming majority Russian, that is totally fine with the annexation, according to Western fucking sources that conducted polls after the original referendum. Mans acts like Crimea never happened. Mans acts like Crimea never happened. No, it happened. Okay? It happened. You're crying a river, okay? But you should cry me a river. I know it happened. L take. No, I'm just like, well, technically Crimea is Turkish. Crimea is technically a part of Turkish territory. It should be. It should belong to the fucking to the Ottoman Caliphate, okay? We will bring it back. We will restore honor and dignity to Crimea. The Crimean Tatars will be liberated once again by their Turkic collaborators, okay? But it's fine. It's fine. For now, you know, Russia, you take it. You take it for now, but eventually it will be ours once again. Anyway. We will be watching the State Department panic.
From Moscow. With me now, reporter Rhonda Colvin here in Washington.
Dude, every fucking outlet, every single fucking outlet routinely lied. They said Putin's going to invade tomorrow. They're going to invade the next day. They kept fucking lying. Ukraine would be like, this is not true. This is not true. Ukrainian administrators would be like, that's not true. There is no blood banks at the fucking border. Shut the fuck up. And they'd be like, and then Reuters would write an article about it being like, no, the Ukrainian State Department is wrong. Actually, they're just trying to stop the panic from happening. We're right, though. Our intelligence is right. That's what's going on. How about you shut up and listen instead of speaking on old information? Oh. I am looking out of my windows and the tanks aren't here. You're a fucking liar, dude. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're lying to yourself. You're lying about your eyes, okay? Don't believe your lying eyes. It's happening. It literally happened. It happened already, okay? It happened already, actually. It's currently happening, but you guys just refuse to see it with the State Department goggles, okay?
Okay, well, that's quite a mouthful there.
Wait, what if after all this hysterical claims of imminent Russian invasion by Western governments and media, it doesn't happen? Easy. They'll say just because it didn't happen doesn't mean the Russians didn't want to do it. As Matt Lee said, that makes it unprovable. This is a resurrection of Donald Rumsfeld's famed unknown unknowns we could have never been wrong about, say WMDs in Iraq, because we don't know what we don't know. In other words, make any deranged bullshit claim you want without evidence, and it can never be disproven anyway. Do you think they're going to try to play this as Biden's big W for the State of the Union? Because if so, we're going to lose the midterms. Dude, it is so fucking embarrassing that this is what the Biden administration has worked on. Like, they purposely, deliberately, fucking actively utilize the State Department. The Russian meme invasion video is out. There's a video being circulated among pro-separatist sources and shows the IED. What is this? Now the Russian news agencies RIA and TASS claim the Ministry of State Security in Luhansk People's Republic prevented a terrorist attack at the center of Luhansk in the Donbass. According to pro-separatist sources, an improvised explosive device was found in a trash bin in the square of Luhansk. These sources claim the Ministry of State Security has reason to believe that the detonation of the IED would have coincided with the celebrations of the Day of Remembrance for international combatants. There's a video being circulated among pro-separatist sources that shows the IED. You make of that what you will. Let's see what the memes are. Let's see what, dude, that's a beautiful dog. There is no way. There is no way. This was the imminent, like, this was the threat. This was the American threat for why we need to, like, give fucking javelin missiles immediately to, like, every mother in Ukraine. Because this was the meme video that the American State Department was talking about. Please stop. Please fucking stop. We need to give every Ukrainian mom over the age of 50 their own, portable nuclear arms, okay? Dude, America is so fucked up. America is literally, this is the Russian-sized propaganda. Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. This is the Russian propaganda that they were talking about. Also, I love casually stumbling across an IED, okay, while I'm filming. This has got some real Logan Paul energy, bro. The Russian government needs to fucking hire like one YouTuber, okay? That's all you need to do. One fucking YouTuber, and they will do a better job. Hire Shane Dawson, okay? He's probably looking for a job right now. Hire Shane Dawson. Let him do this instead, not clickbait, gone sexual, after 3 a.m. Homie's literally, this is a J Station video, okay? Oh, guys, hold on, I'm gonna do a J Station, okay? Are you ready? I'm J Station, and I'm working. Wait, hold on 1 second. Sorry, I have some people at the house right now, and they're working on like charging stations, stuff like that. So, anyway, as I was saying, yeah, Putin got me. Okay, so I'm J Station, okay? I'm Russian J Station. You guys, you won't believe it, you guys, you won't believe it, you guys. It's crazy, you guys. We are out here. And I'm in Luhansk Square, you guys, and we are the separatist forces, you guys. But then also you got the Ukrainians; they are the ops, you guys. Blat blat blat, suka blat, and they're coming, you guys. And we know that they want to put bombs, you guys. We're gonna find a bomb at 3 a.m. Dude, it's crazy, dude. Check this out, you guys. This is my dog, okay? We're walking. Oh, this dog! What did the dog find? Oh my God! Suka bliat! You guys, we're sending in the rest of the military, you guys. They're gonna shut this shit down, okay? That's right, you guys. This is just like Hurt Locker, you guys. That's right. This is the worst. Bro, this is literally like, oh my Lord. Okay. Listen to me. if the American government never said that there was like a devastating meme video that's going to be the precursor for like a Russian invasion last week, this in and of itself is like a laughable propaganda. Okay, this in and of itself is laughable propaganda. It's awful. It's so bad. Like J Station would have done a better job. J Station would have called like, I don't know, Stalin or something, like Stalin's ghost on the fucking Ouija board. And then Stalin would have been like, you know, you did good with Georgia, where I'm from. And also now, you know, you take Ukraine once again. And you know, that would be a better fucking piece of propaganda than whatever the fuck they were trying to do here. But it's even funnier that the American government was like, dude, the smoking gun is upon us. I mean, this is going to be incredible. When it comes out, when the videos come out, I mean, they have so many dead bodies, you know, dead body actors. And when the video comes out, oh my God, the entirety of Russia is going to be like, let's go fucking invade Ukraine. Like, I promise it's going to happen, bro. Please believe us, bro. Please, bro, please don't ask any questions. Like the American State Department is literally just like, please, bro, please just believe us. Why won't you fucking believe us? Yeah, so what's the theory behind why Russian media is touting stopping a terrorist attack? Yeah, so what's the theory on Russia blasting this video about a Ukrainian ID? You think first of all, this is fake as fuck, obviously. And clearly, yes, the Russian State Department also does fucking fake news. I know this already. The only difference there is that Russian State Department fake news doesn't actually enter the fucking Western media. Okay? You laugh at how many suburban moms fall for Facebook prank videos? Like, what do you think is the justification for this? They're showing this as a dub, okay? And it's really bad. It's really bad propaganda in general. They're showing this as a dub. You think this is the reason now they're going to go after? They showed this propaganda, so now they're going to go after fucking Ukraine. They're going to actually invade Ukraine now. Are you still making the Russia is going to invade Ukraine argument? Bro, you have no facts. Bro, it's real. The fuck? How it's gone about is hilarious, but it's real? Oh, it's obviously fake. Sure. You don't know that for sure, bro. You have no facts. Dude, are you having a fucking aneurysm, dude? My man went from like, bro, you have no fucking facts, dude. Are you just, I feel like he's just in here to say I'm wrong. That's it. You have no facts, bro. You guys, we found this suka blyat. We found this bomb, you guys. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I said to myself, das vidanya, comrade. And we fucking stopped it, you guys. This little bomb, you guys, is crazy. They put it right in the middle of the hallway, you guys, in the pathway, you guys. They put the cell phone, and it calls it. It's a Nokia. Those shits are indestructible, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Many of you only have iPhones, so you don't know, you guys. But Nokia's back in the day, if that blows up, that's a nuclear first strike, you guys. That's indestructible pieces that's gonna fucking fly everywhere. Calling the IED at 3 a.m. Anyway, so yeah, this is funny as fuck, but this is devastating. This is devastating. So whatever. So they found this. It's propaganda, obviously, clearly, and L propaganda. They should just show more nipples. They should show more Putin nipples. Where is the motherfucking the man, the myth, the legend? He's talking about it. It's probably really boring, but we can watch. Joseph Robinette Biden. Does anyone have the Joseph Robinette Biden?
That the president is saying is very carefully calibrated as a message to Russia. Certainly, it's a message to the Ukrainians, but also, Biden has to be very wary of his domestic constituency, a domestic constituency that for the last 20 years has had Americans at war abroad and is really not interested in any sort of involvement of American troops in any sort of other conflict. Biden obviously has come out and said that he has no intention of putting U.S. troops on the ground.
And Paul, we see the president there. He's literally walking out. So let's go to him now, the president of the United States.
Today, I'd like to provide an update on the crisis involving Russia and Ukraine. From the beginning of this crisis, I have been absolutely clear and consistent. The United States is prepared no matter what happens. We are ready with diplomacy to be engaged in diplomacy with Russia and our allies and partners to improve stability and security in Europe as a whole. And we are ready to respond decisively to Russian attack on Ukraine, which is still very much a possibility. For all the events of the last few weeks and months, this has been our approach, and it remains our approach now. So today I want to speak to the American people about the situation on the ground, the steps we've taken, the actions we're prepared to take, and what's at stake for us and the world, and how this may impact on us here at home. For weeks now, together with our allies and partners, my administration stopped diplomacy.
Totally.
To make clear that we are ready to reach written understandings among Russia, the United States, and the nations of Europe.
My favorite type of diplomacy, led.
That's his wish. Their security concerns and ours. President Putin and I agreed that our team should continue to engage toward this end, along with our European allies and partners. Yesterday, the Russian government publicly proposed to continue the diplomacy. I agree. We should give the diplomacy.
They didn't just propose that yesterday. They proposed that for the past 3 months, dude. They've literally been only saying that. For the record, they've been saying that over and over again. Hey, nobody wants an invasion. Please, don't fucking, here are our demands. Do not put Ukraine in NATO.
New strategic stability measures. These measures would apply to all parties, NATO and Russia alike. We're willing to make practical, result-oriented steps that can advance our common security. We will not sacrifice basic principles, though. Nations have a right to sovereignty and territorial integrity. They have the freedom to set their own course and choose with whom they will associate. But that still leaves plenty of room for diplomacy and for de-escalation. That's the best way forward for all parties, in our view. We'll continue our diplomatic efforts in close consultation with our allies and our partners. As long as there is hope of diplomatic resolution that prevents the use of force and avoids incredible human suffering that would follow, we will pursue it. The Russian defense minister reported today that some military units are leaving their positions near Ukraine. That would be good, but we have not yet verified that. We have not yet verified the Russian military units are returning to their home bases. Indeed, our analysts indicate that they remain very much in a threatening position. And the fact remains, right now, Russia has more than 150,000 troops encircling Ukraine and Belarus and along Ukraine's border. An invasion remains distinctly possible. That's why I've asked several times that all Americans in Ukraine leave now before it's too late to leave safely.
He's still doing it. He's like, no. We're doing diplomacy, but like, come on, dude. But like, war is pretty pog. Like, it could happen. You know what I mean? It can still happen. Come on, Russia. Give us this one fucking thing, man. Why don't you just invade? Do a little invasion. Just a little bit.
About Russia's plans and the seriousness of the situation.
You're really fucking this up right now, Russia. Do a little bit of invasion. Just a little bit. We're out here talking about fucking memes, dude.
Be equally clear about
we're out here stuck saying memes are the reason why we need $500 million worth of weapons.
Ukraine is not threatening Russia. neither the U.S. nor NATO have missiles in Ukraine. We do not have plans to put them there as well. We're not targeting the people of Russia. We do not seek to destabilize Russia. To the citizens of Russia, you are not our enemy. And I do not believe you want a bloody, destructive war against Ukraine, a country and a people with whom you share such deep ties of family, history, and culture. 77 years ago, our people fought and sacrificed side by side to end the worst war in history. World War II was a war of necessity. But if Russia attacks Ukraine, it would be a war of choice, or a war without cause or reason. I say these things not to provoke, but to speak the truth, because the truth matters. Accountability matters. If Russia does invade in the days and weeks ahead, the human cost for Ukraine will be immense. And the strategic cost for Russia will also be immense. If Russia attacks Ukraine, it'll be met with overwhelming international condemnation. The world will not forget that Russia chose needless death and destruction. Invading Ukraine will prove to be a self-inflicted wound. The United States and our allies and partners will respond decisively.
Dog, that's literally like
galvanized.
is he like plagiarizing Putin now? What the fuck? This is exactly what fucking Vladimir Putin was saying.
Unified and determined as it has ever been. And the source of our unbreakable
This is the
strength
exact same
continues to be
fucking
the
thing that the
power,
Russian government has been
resilience,
saying for the
and
past
universal appeal
literal fucking
of our
past
shared
2 months now.
democratic values. Because this is about more than just Russia and Ukraine. It's about standing for what we believe in, for the future we want for our world, for liberty, the right of countless countries to choose their own destiny, and the right of people to determine their own futures, for the principle that a country can't change its neighbors' borders by force. That's our vision.
Yeah, that's our. He's like, that's our job. He's like, that's our job. Countries can change their borders
Russia
only by
perceives
force if we do it.
We will rally the world.
Damn, bro, dude, I can't believe you just said that. Golan Heights.
Are ready to impose powerful sanctions.
I don't know. Israeli territory now. Golan Heights, Israeli territory. That's kind of crazy.
We did not pursue when Russia invaded Crimea in eastern Ukraine in 2014. We put intense pressure on their largest and most significant financial institutions and key industries. These measures are ready to go as soon and if Russia moves. We'll impose long-term consequences that will undermine Russia's ability to compete economically and strategically. And when it comes to Nord Stream 2, the pipeline that would bring natural gas from Russia to Germany, if Russia further invades Ukraine, it will not happen. While I will not send American
dude, they're
servicemen to
so
fight in
bitch
Ukraine,
made.
we have supplied the Ukrainian military with equipment to help them defend themselves. We provided training and advice and intelligence for the same purpose. And make no mistake, the United States will defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of American power. An attack against one NATO country is an attack against all of us. And the United States' commitment to Article 5 is sacrosanct. Already, in response to Russia's buildup of troops, I've sent additional U.S. forces to bolster NATO's eastern flank. Several of our allies have also announced they'll add forces and capabilities to ensure deterrence and defense along NATO's eastern flank. We will also continue to conduct military exercises with our allies and partners to enhance defensive readiness. And if Russia invades, we'll take further steps to reinforce our presence in NATO, reassure us for our allies, and deter further aggression. To be clear, if Russia decides to invade, that would also have consequences here at home. But the American people understand that defending democracy and liberty is never without cost. This is a cause that unites Republicans and Democrats. And I want to thank the leaders and members of Congress of both parties who've forcefully spoken out in defense of our most basic, most bipartisan, most American principles. I will not pretend this will be painless. There could be impact on our energy prices. So we are taking active steps to alleviate the pressure on our own energy markets and offset raising prices. We're coordinating with major energy consumers and producers. We're prepared to deploy all the tools and authority at our disposal to provide relief at the gas pump. And I'll work with Congress on additional measures to help protect consumers and address the impact of prices at the pump. We are not seeking direct confrontation with Russia, though I've been clear that if Russia targets Americans in Ukraine, we will respond forcefully. And if Russia attacks the United States or our allies through asymmetric means, like disruptive cyber attacks against our companies or critical infrastructure, we are prepared to respond. But we're moving in lockstep with our NATO allies and partners to deepen our collective defense against threats in cyberspace. Two paths are still open. For the sake of historic responsibility, Russia and the United States share for global stability, for the sake of our common future, to choose diplomacy. But let there be no doubt, if Russia commits this breach by invading Ukraine, responsible nations around the world will not.
Do not worry,
hesitate to
Connor East
respond.
Pants. This will not delay the new Kirby
Do
game.
not stand for freedom.
Connor, don't worry. I literally fucking hit up Vlad. I hit up Vlad and I was like, listen, motherfucker. I love you. You're sexy as fuck, okay? But also, Elden Ring's coming out. There's a lot of new games coming out finally. Like, we've had basically just desert-like conditions in the video gaming space for a while now. If you fucking invade Ukraine right now, I will never forgive you. And he was like, I'm suka bliat, I'm sorry. Hasan, you are my greatest. He says, you are my greatest warrior. And that's why Allah gave you the toughest challenges. That's what he said. He thinks I'm Chechen. You know, white Muslim guy, not a big deal. He's like, Hasan, you are my greatest warrior in America. I will listen to you. So, you know, I stopped it because I wanted to play the fucking video games that are coming out.
The U.S. and other countries around the world will pay a steeper price. With me right now, national security reporter Paul Son. As also, we see John Hudson and Rhonda Colvin. Welcome to you all. Paul, let's talk about the message President Biden delivered. It really was multifold in that he had a message to the American people.
Yeah, bro, Putin is such a great guy. Dude, you know I'm memeing, right? Like, I don't think Putin is a good guy at all. I hope you know that. And I also don't, I am not a Russian state agent. Like, I know that some people are just like incapable of understanding humor and jokes, but this is me taking a step back, and instead of taking this shit super seriously, as I have for the past couple of months, picture of your negotiations with Putin. That's right. This is how I stopped it. War was fucking imminent, and I stopped it, dude. How many knife kills do you think Putin racked up back in the day? I don't know, but hey, let's hear what the fucking blob has to say. By the way, because you know they were horny as fuck.
Consequences to the American population in taking significant sanctions and financial measures against Russia. That's a new message coming from Biden. I think he's trying to tell people that if some of these actions that they're considering are taken against Russia, there will probably be blowback, particularly on the Europeans, but also potentially on Americans in the energy market. And I think what he's trying to communicate to the Kremlin is just because there will be blowback, don't think that I'm not ready to do this.
We'll dig more into what the president said in just a moment. But Paul, before I let you go, you've been reporting on how TikTok, social media has been revealing what's really happening on the ground. We hear one thing, but then these images that are sent out and shared on social media are revealing much more.
Wait, what? Yeah, as in like what? That it's fucking blown out of proportion by the media that is like straight up just repeating fucking State Department propaganda hook, line, and sinker by anonymous sources within the State Department. Is that what that's revealing? Because that's what it's been revealing. What it's also revealed to me is that I have a lot of fucking idiots in my audience that 100% would have been like, no, Iraq is different. No, Afghanistan is different. No, you don't understand. Vietnam is different. No, like look to World War II. Korea is different. No, you don't understand. Iran-Contra is different. It's always different. It's like, oh, yo, like that's what this is. That's what's going on. Unsubbed for the React content beef. What? What? One more Master Chief episode after Pokemon? Bro, you are literally the the scummiest of scumbags. Like, first of all, this is not a fucking airport, okay? You don't have to fucking announce your departure. And secondly, you are the reason why I watch MasterChef. It's little fucking MasterChef babies like you. And I don't have a problem with watching MasterChef. I want to make good content. I want to make you guys enjoy the shit that we're doing. But like, for you to fucking come in here, constantly fucking yell about MasterChef when I'm playing video games, only to fucking turn around and be like, unsub for React content, but fuck off, dude. Here, take some time off to reconsider your jokes. You literally are like, watch MasterChef, stop playing video games, and then you fucking turn around and you're like, oh, I'm unsubbing. Anyway, let's continue.
That we are now at 150,000 Russian troops, according to U.S. intelligence. But he also made very clear that he is pursuing a diplomatic solution and trying to get written responses, which was, of course, that was the preferred format of the Russians. They were the ones who started asking the United States for a written proposal in a written response to their demands that they laid out. Now the United States is in a position where we are waiting for a Russian response, and that is exactly what Secretary of State Antony Blinken conveyed to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov earlier today. And so besides preparing the American public for a diplomatic resolution, which he couldn't guarantee, but he said he was working towards. He was also seemed to be appealing to the Russian public in a way that we haven't really heard before. He made a reference to the sort of kinship between.
Bro, remember, like, remember the people whenever I was like, Russia is not going to invade Ukraine. Okay, remember when I told you Russia is not going to invade Ukraine because they do not have the economic incentive? That would be fucking psychotic. And everyone said, oh, well, what if Putin is just a crazy guy? Like, that's how you know. When you start saying like, well, what if the guy that is leading an entire fucking nation is just crazy and not acting out of like, in a rational way? That's when you've already lost the fucking argument. You're not like looking at it. You're not actually analyzing the situation at all. You're just now saying, well, what if he's just a villain and he wants to do murders? And he thinks it's poggers. Like, you can't do that. Why is there troops then? First and foremost, Russia always has fucking troops at its border to the tune of like around 80,000. This number and this military, this troop exercise at the border thing happens every fucking year, okay? Around this time, every year. And America, for the first time ever, greatly improved the fucking propaganda, greatly beefed up the propaganda this time around, when it's been happening every fucking year. Rational actor theory. I mean, you can't say that like someone is an irrational actor. You can't do fucking foreign policy analysis like that. The troops are there to flex and put pressure on Ukraine to implement a Minsk deal that's more favorable towards Russian interests. Yes, 100%. Like, just because someone is a bloodthirsty fucking autocrat doesn't mean that they're actually going to fucking operate in a completely irrational capacity. Even if they have a proclivity towards irrational behavior, you can't fucking add that into your analysis. Like, you're doing, armchair psychology. You're playing armchair psychology. It's a very classic way that the American government and the mainstream media gets you on board with going to fucking war. Oh, dude, well, they're crazy. Like, they're crazy guys. They're mad lads. You got to fucking do something. We got to be even more mad.
That showed that, look, we are ready for a diplomatic path.
Actually, just making shit up. You're unbelievable. This is what America bad brain rot does to a motherfucker. Dude. Let me explain something to you, okay? Let me explain something to you, and then I'm gonna ban you most likely because this seems like a fucking sock account, okay? One, I'm right, and for some weird reason, all the mainstream media sources got this incredibly wrong. Shocking, okay? And two, I'm not making anything up. If anything, it is the American government, the American State Department, that has routinely and consistently made shit up. Okay? And they've made shit up over and over and over again. And for some reason, they suffer zero repercussions of that. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know when, but they're just not, they're not getting in trouble for lying regularly. It's very strange.
Are the demands that Russia is going to want to see met going to be demands that the international community, the United States, and NATO are willing to meet or even talk about? That's what we don't know at this point.
So we expect to see the White House briefing in just a few moments, Sean, and you will be there, as I understand. We heard some questions shouted out to the president that he did not answer before he left the East Room. One of them was about...
You just said they improved their propaganda all of a sudden. That's making shit up, bro. In 2018, the United States government or the United States State Department tried to do a similar thing, talking about, they do this every year. They do these military exercises every year. The American government does talk about it regularly, about like Russia invading Ukraine potentially. These past couple of months were the first time since 2014 where the American government and the American media was hyper focused on it in a way where it was like unreasonable. It was like wall-to-wall coverage regularly, okay? That's true. If you look at the fear-mongering in 2018 versus the fear-mongering right now, the fear-mongering right now was so aggressive. Okay? The fear-mongering this time around was completely way more aggressive. My personal perspective on this, and this is speculative, this is the speculative part of my analysis, is because of Biden's poll numbers. I think that they are idiotic, out-of-touch liberals who think that this will probably draw attention away from Biden's failed domestic policies at home. Okay? Like, look, we're not pussies. Like, we withdrew out of Afghanistan, but we're still bullying fucking, our foreign adversaries. Look at me. I'm fucking flexing my might. Like, I promise. Look at that. And it was a good opportunity for them to, like, make it seem like they were deliberately, saber rattling a little bit with Russia, a foreign adversary. And if fucking war does end up happening, if Russia does end up fucking invading Ukraine, great. That's awesome for America. Are you kidding me? That's fucking brilliant for America, because not for the American citizens, obviously, but it's great for the American government. Okay. The defense contractors make money. You sell fucking arms to Ukraine. You sell more arms to Ukraine. You justify Ukraine becoming a part of NATO. You know what I mean? And you cripple a foreign adversary. You weaken Russia dramatically, because now Russia has Afghanistan and its own fucking borders. So And the same argument could be made on the other side. Just when domestically Russians are super pissed off about pensions, Putin happens to apply pressure more than usual at the border. Fair. I think that's totally fair. I'm not even kidding. I think that that is absolutely totally fucking fair as well. Because war for every government, your view is oversimplified. Yeah. Every single person that says your view is oversimplified literally will turn around and be like, no, it's actually because Vladimir Putin is evil. Like, I'm the one who's at least looking deeper into what kind of genuine interests a government might have historically and in contemporary society when they take actions against a foreign adversary. You want to approach it like a fucking cartoon villain. Oh no, it's because because Putin is a cartoon villain. He's going Joker mode. You know what I mean? And that's why. Look at their logs in January. Alex Jones was talking about Epstein before he got trendy. Laugh is for racists. Motherfuckers trolling you like you're top 0.01% and the rest of us are working at McDonald's. How did this guy go from that to this? Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, the Russian bounty shit was bullshit. Like, yeah, that was a fucking fake news story. It doesn't matter. Like, the Russian government does this kind of fake bullshit too, okay? You're going to be sorry with your I was right bullshit. What happens when we get the news that Russia invaded the ad at the end of the hour? Honestly, man, do better with your analysis. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh, shit. Okay, dude, look at this. Hasan, right now, it was wrong of you to be concerned about this thing that would be terrible if it happened and has a non-0% chance of happening. Now pay me to do your thinking. Wow, that's a really interesting fucking way to look at a situation where you're clearly in the fucking wrong and you were unironically duped by warmongering propaganda, and instead of fucking doing some self-examination, you decided to spin it into, well, it was normal for us to be fearful of this thing. Yeah. I'm fairly new here. Does HasanAbi ever accept other opinions? Yes. Anyway, the only opinions I accept are at the top of the hour, though, when there's a 60-second ad break. And I tell you, you can avoid those ads as long as you subscribe. You can subscribe for $5 or you can subscribe for free with the Twitch Prime if you don't have $5. Or you can get gifted a sub if you're lucky. You know? Here's the 1 minute ad break now. What the fuck do people think accepting new opinions looks like? I was so concerned I needed to monger war is a normal reaction to being scared, obviously. Yeah. Gaucho Marx, thank you for the 5 gifted. Have you already covered dumb Bolsonaro fans saying he did stop the conflict when he was on a plane? I did not see that, but this is funny. Yeah, Putin. Putin warns the Communist Party, the Marxist-Leninist dogma is destroying the United States. Yeah, that's the other beautiful part about this. Like, motherfuckers will be like, dude, you love Vladimir Putin. Like, you love Vladimir Putin. Like, I think that Russia is still, like, communist or something. You know what I mean? When, you know, it's very fucking obvious that they're not. Wait, why did Lake McGroove clap this guy? Oh, he was saying, how does Putin's dick taste? U.S. not moving any troops into Ukraine. This is not about Russia or U.S. This is about Putin fearing Ukraine becoming successful after revolution. Putin wants to teach us a lesson. Talking as a Ukrainian currently in Kiev, Putin cares only about his personal future. We don't give a fuck about joining NATO if Russia stops being aggressive. Wait, so I oversimplified it because I didn't think that, like, Putin is a bad guy who just wants to fucking, you know, who just wants to invade to teach Ukraine a lesson? That's incredible stuff. So why did they stop, even though Ukraine didn't join NATO?
Not yet verified that. We have not yet verified the Russian military units are returning to their home bases. Indeed, our analysts indicate that they remain very much in a threatening position. And the fact remains, right now, Russia has more than 150,000 troops encircling Ukraine and Belarus and along Ukraine's border. An invasion remains distinctly possible. That's why I've asked several times that all Americans in Ukraine leave now before it's too late.
Like, people will come into the America Deserve 9/11 guy stream to be like, why aren't you literally repeating what I saw on CNN? And it's so fucking strange. Dog, the point here that you the point of view that you get here is unlike anywhere else that you will get in mainstream media, because my entire point when it comes to American military activities is literally just like showing you the propaganda machine churning out these hot takes at the behest of the State Department. Because I've seen it. I've seen the consequences of it on the other side of the world. I've seen how Americans get whipped up into a fucking frenzy in the past. I've watched it happen here. Okay. I've seen the aftermath of it. And then you guys who recognize this point of view that I have, okay, you weren't paying very much attention then. What do you mean? Instead, you're repeating Russian state propaganda verbatim. I've never seen Russian state propaganda, by the way. Like, but here's the thing that bothers me, okay? You keep saying I'm repeating Russian state propaganda verbatim, okay? But then you don't tell me if it's wrong or not. You just say it's Russian state propaganda. And like, for example, that bomb that they mysteriously found, classic. Okay, that's Russian state propaganda, that's misinformation, and that's fucking hilarious, that's laughable. I already made a joke about that. But if you're saying like it's Russian state propaganda that the American State Department is claiming that there are blood banks at the fucking border when the Ukrainian government is saying that that's not true, when the Russian government is not saying anything, okay, then what the fuck do you mean? Like, I'm looking at the news and I'm analyzing it through a more critical lens than one that looks at the American State Department and says, yeah, this is definitely this anonymous source who has historically lied to me is probably not lying to me in this circumstance. Russian propaganda is literally saying Ukraine is not a legit country, and I feel like you're quite far away from that. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. You're repeating by saying that the U.S. wants Ukraine in NATO, which is not true. The U.S. does want Ukraine in NATO. That is true. That, I mean, what are you talking about? Since George W. Bush, they've wanted Ukraine to be in NATO. It's literally true. It's a George W. Bush era policy. Ukraine and Georgia. George W. Bush literally said he wants Ukraine and Georgia to be a part of NATO. Is that like American imperialism is bad, but also it's actually not bad. It's kind of necessary in this circumstance. Like, come on, let's do a little bit of it this time, okay?
With Ukraine, Russia has started moving some troops away from the border, a tentative sign that Moscow could be backing down from invading Ukraine. But a U.S.
because they felt Russian imperialism firsthand. You think some fucking dude who's hucking corn in Iowa experienced Russian imperialism firsthand? What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, dude, every person that's saying Ukraine needs to be in NATO in my chat is actually literally in Kiev right now. Shut the fuck up, dude. No, Eastern Europeans, I know, but that's not true. I'm mostly talking to a predominantly American audience, okay? So shut the fuck up. Or maximum, or at most, I'm talking to fucking Ukrainian expats, Ukrainians that are now living in diaspora, Ukrainians that are now living in fucking Canada and America, who say the most psychotic shit as we have historically fucking seen, because I'm sorry to all the fucking GG, to all the Ukrainians that are living in Canada and all the Ukrainians that are living in America, maybe not America, but definitely in Canada, okay? Like, you guys have the same kind of fucking reactionary brain rot that Turkish people living in America have. You guys have the exact same fucking kind of brain rot that Turkish people living in Germany have. They're hyper reactionary. They're really fucking agitated for war. They're really goddamn excited for it. Okay? That doesn't mean that there aren't anyone from Kiev, by the way. I mean, I'm sure there's like 34 Ukrainians currently, so. But the reality is that it's the same energy as like, oh, I'm a Venezuelan living in Miami, and I think America needs to immediately invade Venezuela. I'm a Cuban living in Miami, and we need to drone strike the Cuban government. That's a wild claim, hyper overgeneralized. I mean, dude, first of all, there are Ukrainians living in America, and even Ukrainians living in fucking Ukraine that agree with me as well. So, you know, there's that. As well, but I'm not using those individuals as like as a talking point to hold up against the rest of the people.
This official says some of those forces have actually moved into possible attack positions, and the government has warned Russia could mobilize as soon as this week. Laura Podesta is following this story for us. Laura, good morning.
Good morning. Well, what you mentioned, that is some positive news, but we are cautiously optimistic because we're hearing from U.S. military officials that over the last few days, a small number of Russian ground units have been moving out of the larger assembly areas and taking up positions closer to the Ukrainian border at what could be departure points if Putin launched an invasion.
Paratroopers with the 82nd Airborne Division left Fort Bragg on Monday, headed to Poland as the U.S. continues building up its troop presence in Eastern Europe.
I'm hoping to achieve peace. At the end of the day, that's what we want, peace.
CBS News has learned U.S. officials believe Vladimir Putin could invade Ukraine by week's end. But
Ukraine being the wrong to try and take back Donetsk and Luhansk? I think there are better methods of diplomatically creating an autonomous buffer zone rather than doing that.
the White House is hopeful for a diplomatic solution.
The path for diplomacy remains available if Russia chooses to engage constructively.
Russia wants to keep Ukraine from joining NATO and for foreign nations to pull their military support out of Eastern Europe. Putin seemed open to allowing more time.
I'm a Ukrainian who lives in Canada. My mom went to Ukraine to visit friends, even though I mentioned the Russia-Ukraine thing. So I hope Hasan can maintain peace between Russia and Ukraine through this diplomatic nightly activities. I'm calling it now. Russia will invade tomorrow. Yeah, totally, dude. They're sitting 10 seats apart, usually, with Western forces because they apparently refuse to get tested. They don't want to give their DNA to Russians for some weird reason. So, like, that's the reason why the French president, Emmanuel Macron, had to sit on that fat table, too.
Time for diplomacy in a televised meeting with his foreign minister. Despite roughly 130,000 Russian troops surrounding Ukraine, it appears to be business as usual on the streets of Kyiv. But Ukrainians in the U.S. are worried for their families back home.
People in Ukraine are fearful.
Igor Markov lives in California. He says the uncertainty is difficult as he thinks about his aunt and uncle.
It's just so strange because, like, there's literally people living in Ukraine. There are actual journalists stationed in Ukraine. There are journalists stationed in Moscow. They have the capacity to put a fucking microphone in the mouth of someone also living there. And they have before. And when they do actually have someone like that, they say, listen, we live with fucking Russian aggression on a daily basis. And that's true. That's Lavrov, the foreign affairs minister of Russia. It's because Putin is paranoid about COVID, actually. I was talking about the Macron thing, but that makes sense. The foreign affairs minister of Russia, it's because Putin is paranoid about COVID. Yeah. Anyway, it's a completely reasonable thing to be upset and fearful of the gigantic fucking mega power in comparison to Ukraine's power, obviously, that is in your backyard, that historically has controlled your country, okay? It's a completely understandable fear to have, except, you know, life goes on, and escalation by Western agitators would make it significantly worse for life to go on, okay? You can cut as much tape as you fucking want of grandmas holding up Kalashnikovs, okay? Or AR-15. Suspiciously, the AR platform is making a big, making a big comeback in Ukraine for some interesting reason. You know, that's the lethal aid that they got, okay? You can fucking show that shit nonstop. But ultimately, that will crater an entire fucking country, okay? These people just want a better economy. And the best way to do that for Ukraine, just like every other fucking country, is to deal with their own regional leaders rather than going in and turning their country into a fucking military base for Western interests and getting IMF loans that destroy their country's economy further. Okay? I don't care if you have like fucking Ukrainian, you sound like a centrist at this point. Yeah, I mean, if you think so, but foreign policy, and it might shock you, is not black and white. Okay? It's very difficult to get a fucking beat on foreign policy, or even history in general is not black and white. Normative stances on history are really silly, except for some well-established exceptions in the form of chattel slavery and Nazi Germany. Okay, that's it. Chattel slavery, the Confederacy, Nazi Germany. Those are the instances where you have like normative declarations. Most historians agree on such normative declarations. However, other than that, outside of that, you're supposed to look at it. You're supposed to look at what was going on and look at either side and their fucking personal interest in the matter.
Safe right now, but we don't know what will happen in 3-4 days. I very much hope that they will be safe.
The U.S. has temporarily closed its embassy in Kyiv and moved staff to Lviv, a city in western Ukraine.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is leaving Washington this.
History is not so simple. Also, Hasan, Vietnam, Iran, Korea, Ukraine, all the same. I mean, that is not the end-all, be-all of my analysis on Vietnam, Iran, Korea, Ukraine, I think, right? But they are under the same umbrella of American imperialism. So, yes, Western imperialism, American interests being protected. So, letting you know.
This morning for trips to Belgium, Poland, and Lithuania. Lana, he's expected to consult with NATO leaders about Russia's buildup and also meet with American troops.
Laura, on Russian TV.
So Russia was never going to invade, but what was the harm with lethal aid? What was the harm with lethal aid? Do we not, like, that's the most Ameri-brained bullshit I've ever seen. I can't even say that that's like Westoid brain. That's just straight up American brain. Dog, what the fuck are you talking about? When has more guns been a good thing? Especially when some of those guns are literally being armed by being given off to actual fucking Nazis that are training the citizens. What do you think lethal aid does, bro? You think fucking lethal aid is just offering kisses? It's a gun that gives you kisses when you shoot it.
A meeting between Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Vladimir Putin suggested that Moscow would seek further negotiations with the West. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was interesting. They put their negotiations at this large table in the Kremlin on camera for the world to see. And during the discussion, which was in Russian, they spoke about next steps and how diplomatic talks with NATO countries should continue. We've heard from U.S. politicians, one who said that Putin is an egomaniac and may not want to remove troops from the Ukrainian border.
Do we just then let Russia do what the fuck they want? Like, what the fuck? First of all, what are you talking about? Russia was not going to invade Ukraine. And I was fucking right. And even in a moment where, like, we're supposed to be, like, seeing that I was right and saying, okay, maybe I was a little fucking aggro. Maybe I should re-examine the reasons as to why I was so fucking aggro. You literally are still saying, like, we're supposed to fucking stop Russia from invading Ukraine. We're watching a news report about Russia moving troops back. And you're still like, no, they're going to invade regardless.
Border because it looks like he would be backing down. This conversation, Lana, was a way for his foreign minister to perhaps take.
People were saying Russia is not going to invade Crimea, but it happened. I never said that. But since Crimea's invasion, okay, annexation, you have to recognize that it's not the same as Kiev. Very different. Majority Russian population. Like overwhelming majority of the population is Russian. There was a referendum that took place, which was, you know, not the greatest referendum. Certainly a lot of corruption there. But not only did that happen, where 82% said that they were on board with the Russian annexation and joining Russia, okay. But ultimately, there were Western sources. Not the greatest referendum, lol. I mean, I'm fucking admitting it. What do you want from me? What do you want? Like, do you want me to fucking lie? Azov and right sector exists, but the real weight in Ukraine are greatly exaggerated. Don't say that the Nazi will get the guns. No, the problem is, historically, America has always greatly exaggerated the fucking small reactionary fucking forces, beefed them up, given them training, used them as a weapon against, used them as a destabilizing force historically. And that's precisely what they're doing with Azov and Azov-like people, the hooligans, okay? And they did this with the Mujahideen. And before you know it, you're like, well, what the fuck? These guys only got like 2% of the vote in Ukraine last year. Why are we now at a position where like they're, why are they getting so much prominence? Why are they all of a sudden, why are their sympathizers meeting with John McCain? Why are their leaders meeting with fucking Amy Klobuchar and John McCain? If they're such a tiny, insignificant group, then why the fuck do they get so much leeway and so much fucking, so much help, direct support, CIA training from the American government? I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you don't recognize that this is very much a part of American, this is how America does statecraft, okay? This is how America does espionage, statecraft, and American imperialism. And they're doing it again, and you're saying, well, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I mean, Russia is way more scary than the Nazis here in Ukraine. Okay, well, yeah, Russia does have Nazis. Russia also has Chechen militias, and they're even worse than the Nazis, if we're being real, okay? Holy shit. Or right up there with the Nazis. But we're not fucking arming them. We're not training them. We're not actually fucking giving them guns and more legitimacy. We, on the other hand, are doing that for Azov Battalion. What did you just say? Chechens murdered thousands of children in Koble in the 90s. I mean, dude, Chechens are fucking... You should not fuck with them. That's all I'm saying, okay? Anyway.
Take some of the blame, because during the discussion, Lavrov put it out there that while diplomatic talks should continue and be increased, it was interesting that in this highly choreographed conversation, it was not Putin who was suggesting that diplomacy is the way to go.
Very, very curious about that. All right, Laura, thank you.
Thanks.
We are willing to sell arms to Saudi Arabia for them to genocide in Yemen, and homies are really out here asking what's wrong with lethal aid. See also Central America, South America, and Israel. Exactly. Now the Nazis can return to their communities and proliferate their profound views instead of dying on the front lines. It's over already. They got the fucking training. They got the guns, and they're the ones who are literally saying, like, we're going to arm you. We're going to teach you. We're going to train you. They already have a fuckload of influence over, like, average people. And not only that, but I covered this yesterday, okay? How do you not recognize how fucked up this shit is? Where, like, when there's a press briefing going on, okay, we'll go to the press briefing. But when Western media is covering the Azov Battalion, okay, they don't even show that. They don't even mention that at all. They don't mention that they're fucking Nazis that are training these old ladies. Maybe if these motherfuckers just smoked a blunt, they'd chill out and come to an understanding with one another. I agree, brother. That's right. Yo, can everyone take a vote to see if anyone wants war, though? I feel like if no one wants war, then everyone wins. Smile. The chat is going by so fast, no one will know that I'm actually gay. Oh, too late. Now everybody knows. Also, Russia annexing Crimea makes sense because if Ukraine joined NATO, they wouldn't have access to the Black Sea. It doesn't make sense for them to do a full takeover of Ukraine. They can't do a full takeover of Ukraine. I hope Ukrainian chat is going to be happy for the next election where far-right parties will come out and get massive support with their messages about how they are the only ones who can protect them from evil Russian Empire. Yeah, that's the beautiful part. That's the beauty of it. Like, as someone who has seen this happen so many fucking times in the Middle East, like Iran is a great example of this, okay? The reactionary forces are seen as the only measure against the aggressor, right? The only measure against the aggressor. America loves beefing up reactionary forces and then going, oopsie, they took over, okay? How the fuck did that happen? And you're seeing that happen in front of your eyes, the same exact like Taliban takeover of Afghanistan occurring in Ukraine, and you're like, oh, I don't understand. This is different though. Are you implying that Nazis in Ukraine are going to take over Kiev? They are already growing in fucking prominence and size as a consequence of American material support. This will only make it harder for legitimate fucking leftists in Ukraine who have actually, unironically, like trade unions, who have literally fought against the Azov battalion to shift their focus away from the Azov battalion and focus on some other shit.
Have moved into possible attack positions. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continue. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is meeting with President Putin today.
Wow, dude. You're so far off. I thought you knew more. Clearly, no clue. Are you even aware that they already moved past Donetsk? So I don't understand why you don't include that in your analysis. Russian separatists are funded by Putin. They even had their brutal Colonel General Givy got assassinated by the Ukrainian forces. Now they're just character assassinating. Americans just want a war. Europeans are more practical. Dude, for America to not compromise and terminate the anti-ballistic agreement just shows that they escalated tensions much more than as much as the Russians. Wait, what? Listen, HasanAbi, you're right. I'm speaking as a Dutch citizen. I'm saying there's a mental warfare happening right now. The East has already been invaded since 3 years ago. You can check it. Donetsk, the battalion is called the Somali Battalion. What? If Russia somehow fucks up the Elden Ring release, I'm done with politics forever, dude. I agree. Me too. I'm totally done. You weren't paying very much attention then. You see it on Twitter, I imagine. It's kind of insane how stupid Hasan is. I think his IQ is like 85 or something. Completely wrong on the Ukraine situation. Is totally a Maribane, but actually thinks he's correct. Dude, you can't use my memes against me and say I have like, you know, I'm an out-of-touch Western leftist when like, you know, you're coming in here and you're repeating what Rachel Maddow is saying and you're repeating what the State Department is saying. And then you're like, I'm the out-of-touch Westoid, actually. And then he said, because of pushback from Western forces, it is not guaranteed that they've truly stopped. I love that. They actually didn't even stop, actually. They're going to continue. I'm sorry. I just can't buy the claim that Putin was about to start a generational war that would have had at great cost his nation and likely toppled his government because he's a suicidal nut, but decided not to do it at the last second because the U.S. said don't. This isn't to let Russia off the hook for the shit that's been going on in Ukraine since 2014. And the reason show of force, but no one ever made a good argument about how RU benefits from a disaster war and instead just ran with the State Department's caricature that Putin is a madman. I think the more interesting question is, did the U.S. State Department actually believe Putin would start an incredibly reckless war of regime change and occupation in Ukraine? Did it really think that? And if not, then what game has it been playing the last few weeks and months? Good analysis here by Sam Sachs. It's just nuts, dude. Fucking coping Lamau. I mean, dude. It's just, it's a fucking ridiculous copium from Western media that has been lying regularly, okay? Not to mention Ukraine billionaires own half the Midwest. Bought all the real estate during Obama and Trump presidencies. Yeah. They did. The State Department did fall off, for the record. Okay. U.S. accuses financial website of spreading Russian propaganda. The official said Zero Hedge, which is 1.2 million Twitter followers, published articles by Moscow-controlled media. Dude, I believe this, though, for the record. I'm not going to lie. I do believe that. Like, of course, dude, Russia does pay. Like, you know, they do have propaganda. They do spread propaganda. They do definitely do that. I mean, it's just how much staying power does that have in the face of, like, overwhelming American and Western propaganda? It's nothing. Zero Hedge is like that fucking alt-right website. The Tyler Durden website that like spreads misinformation all the time. So, didn't the UK get a hold of a detailed invasion plan though? Maybe that was a plan. Most likely. That's not like that's crazy. It's just crazy. I've seen zero motherfuckers that have said in here that I was right and that they were wrong. I hope, even if you don't type it in the chat, I do hope you, at the very least, reconsider why you were so excited to just
Russia's
repeat everything that you
military
fucking saw
buildup
on MSNBC. Okay, and you were just repeating everything you saw on MSNBC.
The borders of Ukraine. Take a look at this video showing Russian troops training near Ukraine. A U.S. official said some of those forces have moved into possible attack positions. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continue. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is meeting with President Putin today as Russia insists it wants to keep negotiating. Charlie D'Agata is in Ukraine for us. Charlie, good morning.
It's crazy that Vladimir Putin is saying he wants to keep negotiating, and that everyone else is saying that we should keep negotiating. Germany is saying that we should keep negotiating, we should de-escalate. The Ukrainians think we should de-escalate, but America's like, nah, fuck that, and flailing around for the past 2 months saying like, no, Russia's literally going to fucking do this. Russia's going to invade tomorrow. Russia's going to invade next day. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like a bunch of fucking QAnon supporters saying that like the storm is coming, but the storm is Russian invasion that's imminent. It's like, it's going to happen. Oh, it didn't happen this week. It's going to happen next week. They said it over and over again. And everyone else is literally just like, America, just shut the fuck up. Like, please. That was the one instance where Donald Trump actually did a good fucking job with North Korea and South Korea. Like the Korean unification talks and the denuclearization talks, where he just like let them do their thing. Okay. He was just like, dude, fuck it. Do your thing. Let your nuts hang, talk your shit, do your thing. America, whenever they get involved in like fucking Western diplomacy, they just literally come into the room, fuck the table up. They just like, they just literally wipe the table like a fucking pigeon trying to play chess, okay? And then they start, spraying themselves with champagne like they're the ones who fucking did something and accomplished anything. It's psychotic. We have just like bloodthirsty maniacs that have completely taken over the American government and completely dictate the American foreign policy at the behest of the military-industrial complex to a degree where it's just so commonplace that like we can't even think outside of that bubble. Like the foreign policy blob just exclusively runs on that, and no one is checking them, so they just keep going after it this way. All the while, if your goal is to continue, we're the ninja's wife of the world. Oh my God. If your goal is to continue like maintaining American hegemony, okay, if your goal is to continue maintaining American hegemony at a time when China is making fucking inroads, okay, and China is using soft power approaches, and China is doing, IMF style loans, which people will get mad at me for, but not just necessarily IMF style loans, but basically fucking, developing economic relationships with developing nations in the One Belt Road initiative, okay, in the One Belt, One Road project. America is losing its grip of power, okay? It's already exhausted its grip of power with Iraq, with Afghanistan, with endless fucking wars. And basically it's getting to a point where they're just, I don't know. Nobody wants the Chinese money though. That's just not true. African countries would disagree with you. You mean that Russia is not currently engaged in a war? You're wrong. If you mean that the other countries will get involved, dude, nobody's helping Ukraine. It's a massive bluff with the Americans to think that Russia is not invading. Actually, it's an insult to the Ukrainians. They're sick and tired of hearing this. Way less damaging the IMF loans. That's true. Like, what are you talking? Are you saying that, like, that Ukraine is currently under attack? Is that what you're saying? Like, we went from Russia is arming separatists and offering them material support, okay, who are warring against, like, the more nationalist factions of the Ukrainian militias in certain parts of Ukrainian territory, to Russia actually has invaded Ukraine and is, like, currently doing war in Ukraine, and they've completely taken over Ukraine, actually.
Another day, another European leader meeting with President Putin. We'll see if anything comes of it.
Good morning to you, Tony. We are in the city where the U.S. Embassy has relocated, at least for now, due to that huge Russian buildup at the border. But as you said, it is a confusing picture this morning. There has been a dramatic and worrying shift in Russia's readiness to attack in the past 48 hours.
I'm going to pee. I'll be back.
In an overt show of force, troops have stepped up military drills in the region. A U.S. official tells CBS News that Russia has now moved rocket launchers and long-range artillery into firing positions. New satellite images show ground troops moving from staging areas toward combat positions and newly deployed bombers. And yet, the Russian Ministry of Defense released this footage, claiming to show the pullback of some tanks, saying troops are being withdrawn after the conclusion of some military exercises. Amid the uncertainty, American IT executive Heath Morrison decided to move his family here from Kyiv.
Are you worried?
I don't feel a huge amount of anxiety right now or worry. I worry a lot for Ukraine. I don't worry for my personal safety.
And you have a son.
Yeah, son. He's 6 years old. I mean, definitely that's a factor. I certainly worry about his exposure to chaos or anything like that.
If there is a mass exodus of people, including Americans, it's likely they'll head here to Lviv, a vibrant city in the west. It's thought, or at least hoped, to be safer than other parts of Ukraine, and it's about an hour's drive to the Polish border. We visited that border to find it all quiet on the Western Front. Nothing unusual about the line of tractor trailers and scattering of cars crossing the border. Now, there's definitely been a change in tone this morning. The Russians are talking more about diplomacy. They're making a big deal of pulling back a few tanks and troops, but we're going to have to see.
That's crazy that this is the only morning that they've talked about diplomacy. Like, this is the first time, actually. Like, that's bullshit, man. The worst part about it is that, like, I hate having to functionally fucking defend Vladimir Putin or Russia, okay? It's incredibly frustrating that the situation at hand makes it seem like I'm on fucking Vladimir Putin's side, okay? Don't feel the need to defend them. I'm not. I'm defending the truth, though. And once again, I was fucking right. And once again, you were fucking wrong. I'm on the anti-war side. I'm on the side where we need to de-escalate. I'm on the side where America shouldn't be the fucking world police. What about Russia's claims that Ukraine is doing genocide? Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. It's fake. It's fake news. They're lying. What do you want? Of course they're lying. Anti-war but pro-Crimean annexation. Got it. I really need to use like liberal terminology and try to explain to you in this way. The Ukrainian government is the oppressive force there, okay? The Russian force is the liberator force there, if you think about it. You know, this is a group of individuals who wanted autonomy from Ukraine and actually to be a part of Russia. This is a country that was historically Russia's access into the Black Sea. This is a country that even without the annexation already had military bases for Russia in that country, okay? You can throw up question marks all you want. Crimea is Russian, okay? They're fucking Russian. It's so fucking stupid. Not only is it Russian and mega Russian that a referendum took place, and while the referendum itself was considered faulty, because under the threat of, it was under the annexation force, even though it took place under annexation, it doesn't fucking matter because Western sources that went in after the fact and literally conducted surveys saw that the overwhelming majority of Crimeans actually wanted to be a part of fucking Russia. So why are you, an American, telling me that the people of Crimea are on board with this? Western fucking sources back this up, and yet you're still throwing up fucking question marks. What? Also, okay, so if Hungary comes to Slovakia to claim a historic territory, I guess I'll just need to live with that. If Hungary has a military base on Slovakia, if the Slovakian people are fucking actually Hungarian, and then the overwhelming majority say, I want to be a part of Hungary, then yes, it's GG's for you. That's the truth. That's how fucking it works. You keep trying to use examples that are... You keep trying to use examples. Referendum was fake before annexation. There was no big separatist movement in Crimea. Okay, but post-referendum, Western outlets have gone and conducted surveys. The demography, the demographics of Crimea is Russian. Americans are trying to explain to me that Crimea, that has had like a very different history and has been an autonomous nation on its own historically, okay, are trying to explain to me that, like, no, Crimea is actually Ukrainian territory no matter what. Doesn't matter who lives there. Doesn't matter what their fucking points of view are. I don't give a shit. It's still fucking Ukrainian territory. Why are you ignoring Crimean Tatars and that Crimea should belong to? Yeah, I mean, Crimea should belong to the Turks. How about that? I want to be a part of Norway. It's okay that a lot disagree with you on Crimea. Again, Crimea River. It's not the Vladimir Putin side. It's the America being fucking ridiculous side because they're literally screaming and crying like a child. This is all relating back to America's need to be the center of attention. What? Anarchists in the chat will be like, borders are fake. People should be with their communities. Then say Ukraine's borders are sovereign and paramount. Yeah. People like, how many times have you heard me say, I wipe my ass with the Constitution? And then motherfuckers will be like, actually, technically, according to the Ukrainian Constitution, Crimea belongs to Ukraine. Okay, dude. Sick. Never mind then. Oops, sorry. Fuck the people of Crimea. Every day we have this conversation over and over again. when in fact, Crimea is Turkic territory. It belongs to the Tatars. It actually is Turkish, and it should belong to Turkey. While I agree with you, Crimea being ethnically Russian has absolutely nothing to do with their politics, and if they wanted to be a part of Ukraine despite being ethnically Russian, they should be able to do so, except they don't. So what the fuck are you talking about? So what's up? Like, does it just mean, like, referendums don't matter? Because, I mean, that referendum is sussy as fuck, obviously. But, like, the ultimate surveys that were conducted in the aftermath of that fucking referendum, okay? The surveys that were conducted in the aftermath of that referendum say that regardless of the referendum's outcomes, the surveys conducted by Western outlets saw that the decisions actually corresponded to the will, the interest and the willingness of the majority, the overwhelming majority of people living in Crimea. Okay. And you're still like, no, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't want it. If the people vote to stay in Ukraine, then it's real. But if they vote to go to Russia, it's fake.
How the White House is responding to all this. Weijia Jiang joins us from the White House. Weijia, good morning.
Good morning to you, Vlad, and good morning to everybody. President Biden had a phone call with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson Monday afternoon, hoping to hash out a diplomatic solution. But they are very realistic about what this Russian aggression could mean. These two leaders also talked about beefing up security on NATO's eastern flank and vowed once again to take severe action against Russia if it attacks. Although lawmakers on Capitol Hill have yet to reach a consensus on a sanctions package, they are still trying to work that out as well. Now, yesterday, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan briefed senators about the situation. Both Democrats and Republicans expressed concerns afterward, agreeing that Russia is prepared to invade and that the situation is a dangerous one. Today, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin heads to Lithuania, Poland, and Belgium, where he will attend a NATO defense meeting. He also plans to visit U.S. troops. If Russia invades Ukraine, the U.S. is considering providing a $1 billion loan to help secure the Ukrainian economy. They are also talking to several regions about the natural gas supply in case of a major disruption. Michelle?
All right, Weijia, thank you.
Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.